تذكر يوما كنت تعانق دمعة الفكر تناجي الله في صبر وترجو رحمة تسري فعاش القلب إخلاصا وصرت تحوم كالطير.
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم
وعليكم
السلام
السلام
ورحمة
ورحمة
الله
الله وبركاته.
وبركاته.
Welcome to the Muslim Mindset. We have our three hosts here. My name is Abu Bakr Kamal.
My name is Muhammad Raza.
And my name is Abdul Razak.
And we have here our special guest, Brother Rafiq. Brother Rafiq, could you now introduce yourself, your name, and when did you convert?
My name is Rafiq. Converted 1993, 94.
So you converted
And
a while
what
back.
else was it?
So a long time.
Yeah, I converted a while back. Yes.
So my first question for you is, when did you realize you were on, let's say, the wrong path? When did you realize your faith was a little, for Christianity was a little like shaky?
Well, as far as Christianity, I realized the difference between Islam and Christianity was more so the discipline of the religion. So one, Christianity, you go to church once a week, and with Islam, you practicing that, daily. That's like a way of life. That's when I realized what the true path was.
So when you first converted, what did you like deal with any challenges or obstacles like during that journey?
Yeah, I think when I first became Muslim, the challenge with me was trying to change your life in a better direction with all your friends and everybody you love was on this, was on a different path than me. So that's the obstacle of your friends and your family not on the same path you trying to be on. It makes it difficult for you to stay on the path of the path of guidance.
So could you say you felt like left out when you were like maybe the only Muslim in the room and everyone else was had a different belief system?
Yeah, I could say you feel like you're not, you feel like that you're trying to live a different life than what they're living at that point. So the life that they were living is the life that I was leaving. So it makes you feel like you're not a part, you don't want to be a part of the old life that you lived and then the life that they are living currently. So it makes you feel like you're on the outside looking in.
Yeah. My next question for you is, what made you confirm that Islam was the correct path for you?
When I first confirmed that this was the true path was when I was getting ready to take my Shahada. I had went to the masjid and my heart was pounding that whole time. And it felt like my chest was being open for some type of knowledge to go in. It felt like I was being open, like in a way, like my chest was receiving some type of insight.
So was there any like kind of specific feeling you felt like while you were converting, you're taking your Shahada?
It just really, yeah. Well, when I felt it, it just felt like it was a relief. Like it was like, well, this is something for me at this point. It was positive. It was strong. It was a strong feeling of desire in my chest, and that I was confirmed that this was true, just because of the way my chest felt.
Even though you converted a long time ago, is there still anything you miss about Christianity?
No, Christianity. Let's see if I can. It's not really nothing I missed about Christianity at this point. No.
My next question for you is there any like specific reason you became a Muslim? Like anyone that or anything or anyone that encouraged you to take this new path?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think the encouragement was trying to be a better father, trying to be a stable, better father for my kids. I think that's what led me down the path. I wanted to be stable and be a better father at that time.
Alhamdulillah.
Right.
So I want to change. I want to change myself somewhere to be a better person.
Assalamu alaikum, brother Rafiq.
Walaikum salam.
So our next question is, what influenced you or like made you revert back to being a Muslim?
Yeah. Now there's a few different. There's a few different influences that made me want to become Muslim. One was I met this one brother. I wasn't Muslim at the time, but he gave me a Quran, and he told me to read this. He just gave me a Quran, and he told me to read it. So when I was reading it, it started talking about things about make salat 5 times a day. So then I asked him to teach me how to make salat. Now, I wasn't Muslim. I didn't take my shahada at this time. So I learned how to make salat. He taught me how to make salat. And then we was making salat together. He was like, well, you know, what do you believe? And after I told him, he said, yeah, you already Muslim. So he influenced me a lot, just a brother talking to me about Islam and taught me how to make salat and things like that. Your brother was from Somalia, I think it was.
I see. May Allah bless you and that brother. What changed your perspective on Islam?
How did you perceive Islam before and after you reverted?
Well, I think I had a perception of Islam as being a nation of Islam. Because that was in this country, that's all we seen was the Nation of Islam at one point. So when I thought Islam was, the men that had the bow ties on the corner and, selling the bean pies, I thought that was Islam. And what changed that what changed my perspective on that was when one of the brothers that was in the Nation of Islam, he started talking to me about what he changed his life to practicing the Sunnah of Islam. And that's what changed my perspective of what Islam was.
Right. So my next question to you is, what do you love about Islam? Is there anything specific that you may love about Islam?
Yeah, what I do love about Islam is the brotherhood in Islam. So you can see any Muslim from all over the world and they give you salams and respect you for being Muslim.
I see.
Yeah.
Anyways, how has your life changed since you embraced Islam, both in terms of personal beliefs and daily practices?
Well, I guess I'm more disciplined in my belief, whereas when you're Christian, you're only really concerned about your belief like maybe once a week. So in Islam, you're concerned about it every day. And what was the other question? Oh, the daily. Oh, that's the daily practice. So it's wrapped up in one I just mentioned. One way daily beliefs that you make salat daily, and in the other verses that is Christianity, you're only doing it once a way, so you don't once a week, so you don't have that. Um, I guess you don't have that that confirmation in your belief system when you doing it once and then you leaving it off for 5 6 days the rest of the week.
Yeah, I can agree. So, I wanted to ask you, what do you think a lot of born Muslims take for granted about Islam?
I think what it is they're taught Islam from their parents and from the day they're born all the way up. And I think maybe they may take for granted like something like maybe they don't study the way they need to study. Maybe they don't, read books the way they need books. They wait for the parents to teach them and give them instructions rather than, stepping in and doing it for themselves.
Okay. Okay, so before researching Islam, did you have any misconception about it? Like, and if you did, like, what were they?
Okay, before researching, did I have any misconceptions about it? Now, it's a funny thing how Islam was brought to me 2 3 times in my years of before I become Muslim. Um, it wasn't quite researching, but it was a brother that was inviting me to Islam. But when he came to me, he didn't have any information or any books or anything. So I said, "Well, what kind of Muslim are you if you don't have no books?" I said, "How I'm gonna learn if you ain't got nothing that I can read?" So that kind of made me have some misconceptions about Islam because a brother wanted to give me dawah or talk to me about Islam, but he didn't have anything for me to read. So that had a bad effect on me of why I didn't become Muslim, um, at that particular time. And then it had to be 3 4 years later, I became Muslim. And then I met that same brother probably about 3 4 years later and talked to him about that. We laugh about that to this day. And to this day, he has a carload of books, information in his car just to give out when he give dawah.
Mashallah.
Mashallah.
Okay, my next question for you. What made you initially, like, question your belief and start exploring other religions?
Well, the what made me question it was that the Christianity was not a religion to me. It didn't have enough discipline inside of the religion. It seemed like you could be Christian and do everything that you want to do in life, and then wake up on Sunday and say, "Okay, forgive me," and then go back to what you're doing the next day or even the same day.
Mm-hmm.
So it just that's the problem. Didn't have enough discipline in it for me.
Okay. Can you describe the essential moment of essential moment or experiences that led you to the convert to Islam?
Oh yeah, I think the central moment, one of the moments that affected me was when the brother gave me a Quran. And you know what? It was one of them old Qurans. I think it was Yusuf Ali or something. And he gave me one of them. And I used to read it like every day. And that's basically what changed the condition of my heart was reading something I never read before. Never, and at one point I didn't even read books. So when he gave me this book, I read it and read it and read it and read it, and it really confirmed my faith. It really led me down the path, the Islamic path.
Okay. My next question. What advice do you have for others who are trying to go down a similar path or trying to learn more about Islam?
What advice would I give others considering a similar journey?
Mm-hmm.
The advice I would give to anybody is you definitely would have to have material for if you're inviting somebody to Islam or you want someone to see The understanding of Islam, I would recommend not just talking, but just having a book or some type of small pamphlet that you can give to them so they can take home and read it or read it in their own time, or even give them a Quran if you have plenty of Qurans available that you can give to somebody. That's the journey I would take. That's the direction I would take.
Okay. My last question is there anything you would like to share to us about your journey to Islam, to becoming a Muslim?
Well, specific, share your journey. Um, I don't know. It's been right now that my journey's been more than I don't know how many. It could be 30 years plus right now. Uh, so I think the journey for me is, I guess the hadith now that I learned is you hate to go. How does it? You hate to go back to the dunya like you hate to be thrown in the fire or something like that. That's
Hmm.
the you hate to be thrown in the fire or you something like that. Like you hate to be in the dunya like you hate to be thrown in the fire. So I won't want to go back of journey Islam like I would be hate to be thrown in the fire. That's the point that I want to make because this journey has been long and hopefully it continues down the right path.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
So thank you, Brother Rafiq, for lending us your time so that we could ask you these questions about your path to Islam. I hope Allah blesses you and your family. I mean,
Yeah. And we learned a
Thank
lot.
you. I mean,
We're glad that we learned a lot about your experiences. It just shows us that everyone starts someday.
this is the end of our podcast. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Alaikum assalam.
Assalamu alaikum.